Hello, we're here today with Sheila Atim, and I am Sophia A. Jackson from Afridiziak Theatre News. It's a real honour to speak to you today. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. How are you, and how have you navigated through the strangeness of the global pandemic?
Big question. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it's weird because it's like still going on, isn't it? You know, it's not really a thing that's like fully in the past. It's like kind of still lingering around and sort of like this annoying mosquito that won't go away. Yeah, it's I've been okay, like as things go, considering the breadth of issues and difficulties that this thing has caused for everyone. I've been okay. And just really putting one foot in front of the other, and trying to just really be grateful for the things that I have, and just keep my perspective, and just remember that I am part of a wider society and world that is going through the same thing. But yeah, I've been okay. I've just been sort of focusing on the now. I think before this I was probably somebody who loved to think very far into the future of like all the things that need to be done and all the things that I need to do, and now I'm just like, what am I doing tomorrow? Let's get on top of that.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I think I'm always before the pandemic, I would always have loads of things in my diary, and I'd be booked up for months. I'd know what I was doing every single weekend, and now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
And I think
it's nice.
it is actually really nice because you can just enjoy life a bit more because you're not always thinking about what's happening in the future. So yeah, I would agree. That's definitely a positive that's come out of it. Theatres have been dark for so many months now. Personally, I'm really pleased that we can enjoy theatre in real life again. As an actor, how does it feel to be back on stage?
It feels really nice. It feels really nice because I haven't for the even before the pandemic, for about a year I did mostly screen. So the last bit of theatre that I did was like January 2019. And so I haven't been hearing the reaction, I haven't been having the same kind of back and forth and dialogue that you get when you're on stage. Because obviously it's with a camera, so it's a kind of whole different ball game. So that's actually been really nice to feel that, and to kind of feel that buzz in the room and feel that vibration that's going back and forth of people's laughter or people's gasps or whatever the reaction is. And also to have to do something all the way through in chronological order from start to finish and go through the arc of a story. That's one of the things that when I'm filming I sort of miss, because that's just not how filming works unless you are trying to film something in one shot. But yeah, to be able to just do a performance, and go through all of the emotions from start to finish each time is something that I'm really glad I've had the chance to do.
But because everything's been, we've literally been at home, are you finding it more exhausting though? Because, you're on stage every day. But obviously this one's a bit different actually, because you've got different actors doing different parts, doing the same parts. But are you finding it more tiring because, it's been a sedentary life, hasn't it? It's been a sedentary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, filming is its own. I had been doing a bit of filming between sort of November and April. So filming is its own beast that comes with a degree of stamina. But theatre stamina, woo, like that was something that I had to like. It's like going back to the gym, and being like, oh, okay, a press up, really? What? It's like that, and sort of just remembering to get your chops back and understanding what that's like, and also doing something again and again, because as much as I do really enjoy going through the arc of something, it does require a certain level of discipline to come back and do the same story over and over again. At least with filming, once it's in the can, it's in the can, and then you move on. So yeah, it's been tough. And like rehearsals, like, oh man, I forgot that rehearsals are tough, you know. And also for both myself and Ivanno Jeremiah, who's my wonderful co-star,
Yeah.
you know, we had like other little things going on as well, like maybe a voiceover here or an
Mhm.
interview there or something in between. So we were just like knackered for like the whole rehearsal process. And then on top of that, there's only two of us, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, good, they're doing that scene tomorrow, I'm not in that one. You're in all of it. And it's as a play as well, Constellations is really muscular. You know, it requires you to have a lot of dexterity, a lot of focus, a lot of commitment. And there's some, you know, it tracks the journey of a couple's relationship
Yeah.
from the start, you know, onwards. So there's a lot of life events in there, and as a
Yeah.
result there's a lot to navigate and a lot of emotions to have to dip into. So yeah, man, it was like it's like a little, you know, when someone like chucks some water. Do you remember when they were doing that, is it ALS, that ice bucket challenge? It
Oh
was a little
God.
bit like
Yeah.
that. It's a bit like that.
That sounds intense.
Yeah, yeah.
That does nicely lead me on to my next question, actually, which was that Constellation is quite an unusual play. Do you want to tell Afridiziak audiences what Constellations is about and what makes it different to your standard production?
Yeah. So Constellations is about a beekeeper and a quantum physicist, Roland and Marianne, who meet at a barbecue, and you follow the course of their relationship over multiple parallel universes. And so what that basically means is you see all the different versions of each interaction play out one after the other. So when they meet at the barbecue, you see all the different kind of more successful conversations and less successful conversations, and then it kind of reloads and you start again. And so we chart their journey through however many years that it's been, from when they first meet, their first date, their, you know, someone's done something that's made someone else angry and all these other things. And there's also a through line as well going through, which is a kind of more serious thing that they're grappling with, without giving away too many spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a brilliant play and it's so funny. And with this particular iteration, what the Donmar and the director and artistic director Mike Longhurst have done is, because it's a revival, so historically it's always been a white couple, and that couple's always been within their sort of mid to late 30s. But they're doing it with 4 different couples this time, and each couple is completely different. So myself and Ivanno are both Black and in our 30s. Then you have Peter Capaldi and Zoe Wanamaker, who are both white, but they're in their older years. You have a gay couple, and, you know, so there's all these different identities for these couples, just to see what it does
Yeah.
to the story and to the show. And I've been really pleasantly surprised at how interesting but also easy it's been to draw the play closer to me and to my experiences. Like, it doesn't feel like a white middle class play when I'm doing it. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like it was written for me and Ivanno, you know. And I'm sure that it would feel the same for Peter and Zoe, because of the choices that they've made and the way they've worked it out. And that's also testament to the directors. There's an associate director, Debbie Hannon, as well, and how they've kept it really free, so that each couple is able to bring their own experiences and their own identities to the stories, rather than them sort of restricting us or having any ideas about how each couple should do it. So that's what's different about this version.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
quite ambitious. Would you say they pulled it off?
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen the other couples, but what I do hear is that so there are 2 couples that are currently in rehearsal, but then myself and Ivanno are performing, as are Peter and Zoe. So we're
Yeah.
in rep with each other, and then those 2 couples will be in rep with each other. But I've heard that their version is really, really different. So I guess to me that is successful, because that was the point. The point was to see how this exactly the same script can take on a completely different life. And then on top of that, each universe or each kind of version of the conversations within the play also takes on its own life, because when you reload now, okay, we're in the middle of an argument, and okay, now we reload, and now we really like each other and we're really getting on, or now we reload and he's really shy and I'm really arrogant, and now we reload, you know. So it's like the different layers of all the options that there are. It's kind of, it's a bit sort of mind-blowing in that way, but I think they've done really well so far.
Yeah, and I think it must have shaken up theatre as well, because it's so far removed from a traditional production. I'm wondering if other theatre houses will feel inspired to do something similar as well. And I guess it keeps Constellations fresh as well and modernizes it.
Exactly. And I think Mike thought that this would be a really good piece to bring back, because ultimately the play is about like connection, and it's just about people in love and trying to find each other and help each other, which everyone kind of needs after the year and a half that we've had. But on top of that, it's addressing the issues around representation as well within the industry, and it's also a producing model that allows, you know, this theatre to work around the COVID situation, because the Vaudeville Theatre, which is where it's on, has, I'm not sure exactly how many performances a week, but it's not the standard 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
It's more, in order to accommodate more performances between the two.
Okay, right.
So also as a producing model, it's an experiment that they're trying. So I think it's really ambitious to do something like this after a year of closure. But I'm really glad that they've done that, because I think that's what we just have to do, you know, when it comes to getting back to life. We just kind of throw the doors open and go, okay, here we are, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and try different things as well, and hopefully appeal to different audiences.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about some similarities in Constellations that you are able to relate to in your own life at all?
Yes. Okay, I'll start with the like more obvious one, which is that my character Marianne is a quantum physicist, and I did biomedical science at uni.
Oh wow.
So I'm not a physicist, and I'm nowhere near as intelligent as quantum physicists. I have to say that, because they're like in a different realm. But very literally. But yeah, I've always had a really keen interest in science all my life, even since I did the degree and became an artist and an actor and things. So I was really excited to get into that part of it. And when I was a kid, I loved astronomy, and there's lots that I don't understand. I'm not very good at maths, so physics isn't my strong point. But yeah, it was just really cool to kind of dig into that stuff. Both like very literally, because there is a bit of science in the play, but also just thematically, because that's the structure of the play. You know, the idea is that we're operating over parallel universes, so it's just fun to be in something that's got some science in it. But that's like one parallel that I'd say. I guess in terms of the other parallels, it's interesting because when you see each like version of each interaction, you get to be a slightly different version of that character, and therefore maybe some of those versions are closer to you than others. So you do definitely start to feel bits of yourself like creep into it. And a lot of my friends have seen it, and they're like, I really laughed at that bit because that's you. Like the way
I love that.
Which is really nice. But then, you know, that it's also really fun to kind of dip into some caricatures a little bit of some other, you know, I've got people who I know who I'm like, that's definitely that person, you know, 100% that person. There's one couple that keeps on sort of recurring completely by accident. But I'm like, she's got super long nails. I just know she's got long nails, and I don't know why. I just know she has in my head. She's got long nails, and she talks with her hands, and like she's just that guy, you know. And then I've got another person who looks completely different, and so that's really fun. So there's definitely throughout the piece, if you knew me, there's pockets of me that kind of pop up, definitely.
Oh, that's really nice. So as an actor, how did you adapt to everything being online in terms of auditions and things? Or was it challenging?
Yeah. It what you know, I didn't have lots and lots of auditions. I don't tend to get lots of auditions actually, because the auditions that come through for me tend to be quite specific. So I can go for quite a while without getting one, and then there's something that's really like, we're looking for a tall, dark-skinned, slim woman to play this kind of guy, you know. Tends to be like, we're looking for someone really weird who can do this. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm in. So I don't tend to get lots of auditions anyway, but I did have to do a couple of chemistry reads online via Zoom, which is difficult. Like I still haven't really cracked it.
Read, sorry.
So a chemistry read is basically when you're sort of down to the final few of a role.
Yeah.
They basically think that you're all eligible to play this role, but it's about seeing who has the best chemistry with the person they're going to be playing off.
Yeah.
So I've done quite a few of them, but yeah, they're definitely, I'm finding them harder online because it's all about, you know, having a connection. And usually when you're in person with someone, there's something about being in the physical that really helps. Like, back and forth. And it also helps, I assume, that the people who are casting to be able to get a sense of what the energy is between the two of you. So the digital space is a bit of a hindrance to that, and I'm still sort of navigating how to put my best foot forward and really connect with people through Zoom. Also because I really took a step back digitally during the pandemic, because that amount of screen time was like, it couldn't run. And I also found I was having to give more energy through the screen than just in real life, because it's harder to read body language and facial expressions. And also I know for a long time everyone was like here, like when they were talking, like shouting into the thing, like, can you hear me, you know? So I just got knackered. I was getting migraines, you know. When I was trying to talk to people at night, I had to make sure my lighting was set up right, so I'd have like this bright, it was just all too much. So yeah, I think I'm kind of glad actually that there are a few more in-person kind of audition processes and things that are happening.
Yeah.
A lot of it is still very digital. So it's just about, I think it's about pacing myself and really knowing that if I'm going to do something digitally, then anything social that's digital that's not necessary kind of goes out the window. You know, there was a lot of like people jumping on House Party, and I downloaded it, and then within a week was like, I can't do this. I can't.
Yeah. It's hilarious because everybody was on it, and then it just died a sudden death. It was like, no one's on it now. I didn't even have the app on my phone. It was like it was stuck. It's stuck in a period of time that I just don't want to go back to.
Yeah, and it was such a short, intense period of time. I swear, like its shares went up to like a crazy amount, and then it was just like the people who built it must be like, what the hell's going on? Like, we were millionaires, and now we're not.
Now no one has their app on the phone, but
yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's trying to get rid of that stuff and just distill it is my strategy.
And as Freedom Day approaches on Monday, the 19th of July, what positives have you taken away from lockdown?
I've definitely taken away, like we were saying before, the sort of the gratitude and the trying to be in the present. And being really in touch with myself when I feel like something is too much or my workload is too much. It was funny, there was one day in lockdown, I think when restrictions had lifted a bit, and I can't remember what it was that I did, but I think I did like 3 things that day. And I got back home and I was exhausted, and I was like, oh, that's a long day, isn't it? And then I was like, what I did today would probably be a third of my day usually. And it would be that for 3 weeks, and then maybe a couple of days, you know. And okay, there's of course there's a degree of stamina that can be built back up again, but it just really made me question how healthy that was, and if that was a way that I wanted to continue into the foreseeable future, you know. And I think particularly if you're a freelancer and you work in a creative industry, that kind of hustle way of moving can really rob you of time before you've even noticed it. And it's not even necessarily that I have specific things that I want to do, but I just think, like you said, being able to stop and just recognize where you are and what you're doing and experience and feel and be present is something that I really realized that I needed to do more. And just not be so exhausted all the time. I think sometimes we can wear exhaustion as a kind of badge of pride. Like, look at me, I'm so tired because I've been working so hard. And actually, sometimes it's just not nice to be tired. It's nice to just be rested, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think we were all doing too much all of the time. And
too much.
Yeah.
And I also really took connecting with my friends and family and just really seeing who I really love. That was a big part of it. Going, I love you guys, man. Like, wow, you know, and like seeing who showed up and who didn't, and being so grateful for the people who did show up, and also realizing that they would show, because sometimes just in the day-to-day life there's no event that necessarily makes them need to show up, but seeing that everyone did, and everyone was kind of trying to be better versions of themselves for each other. I really like
it's I really like what you said about people trying to be better versions of themselves. I think we were all like, the people that you loved the most, I feel like we wanted them to be happy and to just do what you could personally to make other people happy. So I felt like there was a lot of love going around from the people that I love the most, and reciprocated. It was really nice. That was definitely a positive for me as well, actually. So in terms of the pandemic and an opportunity for change, what changes would you like to see in the performing arts industry?
Ooh, what changes would I like? There's some big questions. Oh God, there's a list. No, I mean, I would like to see, you know, there was a lot of talk last year, obviously George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, but not just that, you know, lots of conversation around the trans community and so many different communities that just need some action. And I would like to see that action in a very measurable way. And I know that a lot of theatres are doing that. You know, I'm on the board at the Old Vic, and the Old Vic is you know, currently going through lots of work to try and respond, you know. And yeah, I want to see that response in, like I say, a measurable way, a measurable, visible way that I can go, oh, okay, cool, you've done that, and I can see how everyone's going to benefit from that. So I'd like that. I'd really like theatres to and all creatives to continue being ambitious as well. I think, as we said earlier, this project, Constellations, is really ambitious. And it could have been really easy to play it safe after a time of a lot of hardship, you know. So I'd like to see everyone still really trying to put their best foot forward creatively and push the boat out, you know. I'd also like to see everyone just raise the bar when it comes to the amount of respect we give all creatives. And I think everyone is guilty of this, actually, but I think, you know, actors can be over here, and then directors can be over there, and then producers can be over there, and then stage management can be here, and you know, and there's I think what was really shown in the last year is that everyone was just so equalized because no one could work. You know, like, as an actor, my experience tends to be that I'm the last person to know I'm on the job, probably. You know, like because I get cast, and before I've been cast, there's a creative team, and there's conversations, and there's and then you come on, and then you're in it, right? And then, so in terms of that kind of power dynamic, that can be kind of complicated, and that can change over the course of a career, because your bargaining power and your autonomy can also change depending on your career status. Not that I like that term, but you know. But yeah, I think at that time no one could work, you know. No one could do anything, and when it all boiled down to it, we were all just people who wanted to make some shows or make some films or make some music or whatever it was. And so I think having a heightened awareness of everyone's role within the kind of wider ecology of these creative industries, I think is really important, to really respect each other and what we do and what other people do, and understand that is something I'd really like to see. I'd really like to see that. So yeah, I'm looking to the people who are like, you know, wanting to run companies and wanting to build businesses and production companies and organizations, because I know there's a lot of that as well. There's a lot of people wanting to innovate and create new things, you know, and people have felt really galvanized, I think, over the last year to go, I'm just going to do that project that I always put off. So I'd like to see, when people start these new ventures, to have that in their mind as well, the way in which we treat each other at work, dignity and respect. Yeah, I'm looking for that.
Yeah, hopefully that does filter out over time, but I think it'll take a while before we get to that place, but I think we are on a journey, and I think the pandemic has been a catalyst for change, and hopefully the theatre sector will embrace that as well. I don't have too many more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so finally, why should Afridiziak readers come and see Constellations?
Afridiziak readers should come and see Constellations because whichever version you come and see, it's a show that was made for you. That's how I see it. What I really loved was some of my friends who have come to see it said, I felt like that was my people on stage.
Oh,
that was my people. And when they say my people, that mean that in a really broad sense, not just racially, because actually the person who said it to me was not Black.
okay.
But he said, that's my people, you know, as people I recognize, people I grew up around, and multiple versions of that, because even though it is just myself and Ivanno, or just Peter and Zoe, or whoever it is you go to see, we are kind of embodying multiple people and multiple characters in a sense. It's also really funny. It's a really funny show, and it's really moving as well. And I think if you are wanting to see something after a long period of not having been able to experience something live, it's only like an hour and 5 minutes long as well. So I mean, so you can go out afterwards, you can do whatever you need to do. You know, it's long days at the moment because it's summer, so you'll get out when it's still light, you know. I think it's a really great day out. I really do.
Okay. We gave it 4 stars. I haven't seen it myself, but I am hoping to catch you in it as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Sheila. I've really loved the conversation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sophia. Thanks very much. And if you come to see it, say hi at stage door as well.
Okay, I will.
Come and wave. It's fun.
I will. I'll do that. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.